What's up everyone, Drew Binsky here, and before we jump into today's video, I want to let you know about a new YouTube channel that I just launched called Drew Binsky Unseen, where I share all of my best bloopers, outtakes, and deleted scenes that I've collected on all of these hard drives from every single country in the world. So head over to that channel, link right there, to subscribe. Alrighty, now it is time to jump into today's video, which is actually a story that I want to tell you which happened to me in 2015 at the start of my travels. This is years before I started making travel videos, so I'm starting to think about old content that I want to resurface and tell you some stories, because travel is not all fun and games, and the story I'm about to tell you was one of the lowest points in all my travels and in my entire life. So at the time, I had just finished teaching English in South Korea. I was living there for 2 years. It was an amazing point in my life. I was travel blogging, and I decided to go to India on my first big solo trip. And I spent 3 months backpacking all around India from south to north, visiting all different places on a shoestring budget. I think I was spending somewhere between $600 and $800 a month for everything. So it definitely presented some challenges, but it was also one of the most incredible trips of my life. 6 weeks into my trip, I found myself in the Rajasthan state in northwestern India. It's actually my favorite part of the country, which is more like a subcontinent, because there's so many different things happening in India. It's absolutely bizarre. But I had just finished exploring the beautiful town of Udaipur, and I needed to get up to Jodhpur, which I decided to take a bus. And this bus that I wanted to take was an overnight sleeper bus. It was something like $5 or $7. It was extremely cheap. It was the lowest of the lowest quality. And I remember going to the bus station in Udaipur and buying my ticket, and then getting on the bus at midnight was when it left. It was a sleeper bus, which means people have their own kind of compartment or a bed, which is basically a spot that you can lay down, because it was a long overnight journey. And I got on the bus. I was the only foreigner on the entire bus. It was all Indians, and nobody really spoke English the whole time. And as soon as I got on the bus, I remember thinking to myself, this is really jerky. It's an old bus, and I feel a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm just gonna let it slide and go with the flow. So I got on the bus on the upper deck, so I had my own little compartment, which was kind of like it's supposed to be a bed, and I was sitting on the upper left side. And at the time, I was really big into Snapchat, so I was Snapchatting all of this, which is really the only footage and the only evidence I have of this terrible situation that was about to happen. So bus takes off around midnight. I have my headphones in, I'm listening to music, I'm feeling pretty calm. I have my bag situated by my feet, and I'm just laying down and dozing off. So about 1 hour into the ride, we are on the freeway, kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's pitch black outside, and all of a sudden, out of complete nowhere, the bus driver slammed on the brakes, like he hit his foot as hard as he could on the pedal, turned the wheel to the left as hard as he could. The bus flipped over the median. There was a couple feet, maybe 3 feet, between the median and the desert, or the dust, which is where we crashed. Bus completely flips over. All the windows shattered. There's dust flying everywhere. I just remember at that moment I thought I was dead. I was checking my heartbeat to see if I could feel it beating. It's the only time in my life that I've ever had that feeling. And as soon as it happened, I was in so much shock, and there was so much crying and everything happening. I remember looking up through the space in my fingers, and because there was so much dust, I had to protect my face and from the glass as well. And I remember seeing a guy's feet right above me, because he was holding on to the rail, because as I said, we were flipped over. And so I was checking to see if there was blood, which there was all over my foot. There was a bunch of glass, because all the windows shattered, that there was glass about this high in my compartment. So I was covered in little pieces of glass, and I couldn't move. And after about 10 minutes of staying still and everybody freaking out, we had to exit. And so by doing that, it was so challenging. I had to get my bag and maneuver through all like the broken glass pieces and stuff. And then I had to climb out off the side of the bus, which was actually the rooftop at the time, because the bus was flipped. And so then I managed to get up there. I was one of the first people to get out, and then I jumped about 10 feet or 3 meters from the top all the way down. I checked out my foot. It was completely covered in glass and blood, and I was taking the pieces of glass out, and thankfully none of those glass pieces hit my neck or hit my arms, but other people were covered in blood, and it's a scene that I can never forget. And so then I'm stuck on the side of the road, nobody speaking English at all, just very, very minimal, and so I didn't know what was going on. Unfortunately, 2 people didn't make it out alive, and the reason I know that is because I didn't actually see them with my own eyes, but there were 2 people that were stuck on the bus at the end, and everybody was kind of crowded around the bus, and they kept doing this sign, and people were crying, and they were trapped in the bus. There were like pieces of the metal handrails and other pieces of the bus that had just kind of got their bodies in half. And so it was a really terrible scene, as you can imagine. It's 2 in the morning, and I don't know what to do. And so finally an ambulance comes, and they're begging me to get in the ambulance to take me to the nearest hospital, which is 2 hours away. And I refused because my foot was fine. I was more just in shock of everything. And also, I needed to figure out how I was going to get to Jodhpur, because I couldn't just sleep in the middle of nowhere. And so I ended up waiting another hour or so until another bus came and picked some of us up who decided to continue on. And so I did take the second bus to go to Jodhpur, and I remember I was so I was so in shock, and I had so much adrenaline that I was like shaking like this the whole bus. And every time the bus driver would just touch the brake or turn the wheel, I just had like a panic attack that the bus was going to flip over again, or that something bad was going to happen. So it was really tough. I remember texting in my phone notepad everything that just happened, because I was blogging at the time. I wrote a detailed blog post about it. And then the worst part was I had to call my parents when I got to Jodhpur and tell them everything that happened. And I felt so bad, because it's just a situation that no parent wants to hear, and it's something that I never want to experience. It was a very, very rough time in my life, and to this day I have no idea why the bus crashed. I think it's one of 3 reasons. One, there was a cow in the road, because there are many cows running around India, and the bus driver tried to maneuver aside from it not to hit it. The second thing, and the most common thing, which is what people have told me likely happened, is that he was drunk. A lot of the bus drivers are drinking, and he crashed the bus. Or the third option is he could have been really tired and he could have fallen asleep, and then by the time he woke up, he turned the wheel, or there was a truck coming at him, or something. Those are the only things I could picture what happened, but it doesn't matter. It happened, and the scariest part is if all of us died, I don't even know if that would have been reported in the news. I don't know how my family would have found out. There's so many ifs, and that's really the scariest part. And unfortunately it happened to me, and I have never taken a night bus in any country, even in Western Europe or wherever. I refuse to take buses because I'm just so scarred from that, and I do have some PTSD when I'm telling the story. And you know, I don't really want to pick on India in this video, because this could have happened in any country. It just unfortunately happened to me in India. So I just want to say India is a wonderful country. I've spent about 4 months of my life traveling throughout, and there are many incredible stories, incredible moments that I've had in the country, but this was a really low moment. And so I just wanted to share this story with you guys, because when you look at my videos, you just see all the positivity and all the beautiful moments that the world brings to me, which is always the case. But sometimes bad things happen, and I don't want them to go undocumented and unnoticed, because it's my duty to share with you the full story and be honest from all my travels. The craziest ending to this story is actually 2 weeks later. I was on a plane to Nepal, and I just escaped death by this much in a totally different way. But I'm gonna save that story for another episode of my travel stories and my travel recaps. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching this video. I would love to hear all of your comments. If anything bad has happened to you, or if you have anything to share, I would love to hear it. Please write in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my new YouTube channel called Binsky Unseen, where I'm going to be sharing tons more old content, old stories, bloopers, outtakes, funny moments, deleted scenes from all my travels around the world. Have a wonderful day, guys, and I will talk to you later. Peace. I'm Binsky, and if you like my travel videos, please click subscribe and ring that little bell so you can get notified on all my upcoming videos as I take you to every single country in the world.